Hi everyone, this is Andrew Weinzerl, Bridge USA's National Field Director, and this is how to successfully plan for a Bridge USA discussion. First, a little definition of discussions versus events. We do define them differently at Bridge USA. Generally speaking, a discussion is going to be a recurring meeting, so think every 1 week, every 2 weeks on a set schedule, that are usually focused on a single topic. They generally do not involve any bells or whistles, such as speakers or partners. On the contrary, an event will be larger scale programming generally that may involve partnerships, speakers, and substantial marketing to bring out audiences larger than your traditional general discussion. To dig a little bit deeper into discussions, the goals of them are to allow participants to voice their opinions in a moderated setting, to be respectful and constructive, and to really start and abide by the 4 Bridge USA norms of discussion. What is not the goal, or what I should say is not every discussion will find common ground, nor have actionable solutions in the end. We also have a little bit of a discussion planning timeline here. First step is to decide on a topic, research that topic, write questions for that topic. Once the research is complete, create supporting materials and begin marketing, and then create an agenda for the team. Moderation agenda is probably going to be very important, especially if it's a more heated topic. And then after the discussion happens, we highly recommend to debrief with the team, figure out ways to improve so that you can be consistently in that mindset of growth. Another thing I'll raise is this timeline you absolutely do not have to stick to. It's more of a guideline. We'd recommend to go in order and to think about this and to come up with a plan for you, really what works for your chapter. And what we would recommend for sort of the least amount of time to plan for a discussion is going to be about 1 week. So if you're having, for example, discussions on a weekly basis, we highly recommend to start planning discussion no less than 1 week in advance. To help with sort of the discussion planning aspects, we have a template task list that you can use as well. I believe this should also be in the description of the video. This ensures for each task that you assign it to someone, that you create a due date, and you check in as needed. It's currently above my head here, but I'll blow it up a little bit larger. This allows you to list what are the individual tasks that you and your team need to accomplish, who is going to work on that task, when is that task due, and it allows people to select the status of that task as well, from this task is complete, I haven't started it yet, maybe I'm blocked on that task and I'm looking for maybe help from someone else as well. So we would definitely advise you to use this if you'd like. Next is choosing your discussion topic. A few things to maybe keep in mind. 1, local issues. When you're thinking about what you want to have in your next discussion, think about what's affecting students on campus right now. We've had chapters in the past have conversations around parking or dining on campus, student housing. There are certainly some issues that you can find at the very, very small local level. You can expand there to what's going on in the city, what's going on in my state. There could be some state laws that are causing some controversy or discussion, and you can have those on campus as well. 2, what's currently relevant in the news? Think about beyond that national sort of debates that are going on right now. Immigration, abortion can be really controversial issues. There's certainly some less controversial issues as well, potentially like the economy, for example, or AI, right? And one place that you can look to kind of understand kind of the nuances a little bit is the Bridge USA trending topics spreadsheet. It's linked here as well. Again, hopefully should also be in the description. The trending topics spreadsheet is something that will allow you to see what's currently trending. We will be updating it, I believe, at about a weekly basis. And then you'll see some example like discussion prompts in there as well for inspiration. And then finally on the right here, we encourage you to make members feel important, make them feel like they have stake. They do have stake in the organization, right? That's super important. So consider having them like vote on your next topic, for example, as well. So that they have, again, stake in the organization. Next, Another consideration for topic selection. So I'd mentioned like abortion and immigration, right? Super controversial, super divisive, super heated topics. So what we would recommend is to think based on your chapter moderation skills, your experience, how many conversations you've had, and your perception on campus. Think about where do we kind of land on this continuum here. You can see this is a sort of continuum from left to right, wherein topics on the left would be something that, we're just getting started, versus topics on the right here would be we're experienced, we've done a lot of, deep topics before, we're ready to really jump into it here. I won't go through these, but there's a few examples, again, on this left to right continuum that you can look at here. And I would recommend as well to think about where are we in the semester, have, maybe you start with something less controversial, like maybe AI. I know that could be debatably controversial, right? But maybe less heated. And then slowly delve into things like immigration, which could be more heated. We also have a recommended discussion structure. Again, recommendation here. You don't have to stick to this. You have the ability to really do what you want to make a discussion as effective as you want on campus. We recommend an opening to intro to discussion, provide any background information if needed, especially if it's a more nuanced or in-depth topic. Address the Bridge norms of discussion, of course, and then consider asking just the audience, what do you think about this topic? Get some initial thoughts out there to get people talking a little bit. And then in the middle of a discussion, the moderator can guide them through various subtopics. That's where, again, discussion planning is going to be very important to create that moderator guide to make sure that we have guiding questions and things like that. And then finally, the ending. Consider reflecting on the topic, allowing people to raise, hey, how do you think this topic went? The moderator could raise common ground, differences, or learnings throughout the topic that they may have noticed. And then finally, always a good idea to address when is our next discussion, what are next steps, things like that as well. We also have a few discussion formats that you can consider to kind of keep things fresh. Small group will be, like 3 to 5 people in, small group formats. Large group will be like maybe we have a group of 20 people and we just kind of jump around and we have a large group discussion. I like to recommend to move from or really in between large group and small group conversations. An example could be you're talking about AI and you have small groups of 5 all discussing the topic, and then maybe in the latter half of the discussion you all come back together in the large group and you share maybe top level of thoughts from each small group. And then finally, one-on-one conversations is something that you can have as well. A few different places to look for topic research are next here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but definitely recommend look these up, visit the websites. These will go through things allowing you to understand especially different sides of an issue. Procon.org, for example, is a really popular website that allows you to look up a topic and see where do different people stand on this issue. We also recommend to check out what's going on in your school newspaper for those more local issues, whereas the rest of these could be a little bit more relevant to a national conversation. Next is naming your discussion. It's generally important to keep the name of your discussion balanced or neutral in nature. Balanced meaning favorable to maybe both the left and the right, or Republicans and Democrats, or conservatives and liberals. Think about word choice used by both sides, and think about how can we attract both to our conversation. If you're using language that's more favorable to the left, you might draw more people from the left to your discussion, and vice versa for words more favorable to the right. An example could be, if we're thinking about immigration, of course, the left might say or use the term undocumented immigrants or undocumented migrants, and the right might use the term like illegal aliens more, for example. When thinking about guns or gun control and gun rights, the left might use the term gun control, gun safety, gun legislation, whereas the right might say Second Amendment, gun rights, and things of that nature. And so what we recommend is think about how do we keep that balanced and neutral. An example for immigration could be immigration to the United States, restrict or expand. And for guns, discussion on gun control and gun rights in America, balanced in that nature. A few things that we also recommend to prepare, from a presentation to info fact sheets and a moderator guide. Presentation, again, can't stress this enough, go over the Bridge USA norms of discussion. You can outline the topic in a quick presentation, especially if it's more complex, and use that as a really good visual aid if used sparingly. We also recommend info fact sheets. So to provide some context, you could highlight some data on a fact sheet that you hand out to everyone that comes into a discussion. You could highlight some maybe guiding questions in there as well to help facilitate a conversation. And then finally, moderator guide is going to be pretty important as well, especially for just outlining follow-up questions for a discussion. Lastly, the knowledge check. So I have 3 questions here. First one is, what is the shortest amount of time recommended to effectively plan for a discussion? Go ahead and pause and think about it if you'd like. And the answer, we talked about 1 week. 1 week is really the shortest amount of time that we recommend for planning a discussion, although can't go wrong with more time than that. 2, what is the name of the Bridge USA resource available in a spreadsheet with a list of current national news happenings and discussion questions? Pause if you need to. And the answer is trending topics. Again, link is here for you if you'd like to access that and check that out. We do update it about once a week during the academic year. And then 3, which discussion topic name is the most balanced or neutral in wording of these 3? This one's a little bit more subjective. Answer, though, is immigration to the United States, restrict or expand. We talked about that briefly previously. Others, like gun control, could be more favorable to the left. That's A. And B is discussion on the Second Amendment, could be potentially more favorable to the right, although that one could be a little bit more debatable. Finally, we have a resource, the chapter handbook, available to you. Definitely check that out. In there, you can search it, you can dig through it. We have lists of types of gatherings. We have information about picking a topic. We have your events, operations, and checklists that we talked about a little bit earlier, research tips, and a lot more. So make sure to check that out.